Hey guys, so for Vlogmas Day 23, I'm going to be talking exactly what my autism affects for me. I will say personally, this is just what I'm talking about myself, not any other people. I am not like a name brand, it's not brand. I'm not the face of autism. Like, I'm not trying to say this is what I'm saying for every single person who has this disability or thing, or anyone else who has any other disability. Like, it's just, again, from my experience and personally for me, what I think is the hardest part about autism for me. Okay, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, I will leave that down in the description below. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, you can do that. So now that we got that disclaimer out of the way, number one is, for me, personally, it's hard to make friends. And I don't know if you know this, but I don't have a lot of friends. And I'm sure everyone else, my age maybe, or even older, doesn't have a lot of friends, but for me it's always been like that. I had a childhood friend named Maggie. She was the best, no hate to her, she was a good friend, but I was so young that was, for me, I didn't really register she was a friend, but she wasn't I don't know, a friend that you could hang out on a daily basis, or have your parents call each other, or I don't know. For me, that's what I consider a best friend, or maybe you keep in contact. Like, again, for me, that term may be different for you, but for me, I just consider that not a best friend when I was younger, and I didn't realize that for me. So then I had I didn't really have friends at all when I was in school, at all. I had probably friends, maybe one or two acquaintances, maybe friends in school, in my classes, but for me, they were never really truly friends, because it was always in school. It was never out of school. For me, I consider a friend where I could hang out out of school, at each other's house, or at a park or somewhere. That's what I considered a friend, because I had friends in school, but I never hung out with them outside of school. Just because I had no there was no besides that common ground, there was nothing else for me to connect to or relate to. I hope I'm trying to explain this really well. I may not be doing a very good job on that, and I'm so sorry that I'm not doing a great job on this. So it's just really hard to make friends, and when I do, it's kind of hard to get past through the oh, hi, what's your name? Oh, how old are you? What's your favorite color? Or oh, um what grade are you? Oh, I love your hair. Stuff the very superficial stuff. I can't get past that. And if I do somewhat get past that stage, I can't get past the next stage into wanting to get each other's, well, I probably can get to each other's Instagram or Snapchat, or our phone number, but to converse and make a real friendship, and saying oh, do you want to go grab a coffee, do you want to get lunch, stuff like that. I can never get to that point of getting a friendship, and it's just always been like that. Very few times I think I've only had okay, so probably three, no, I don't know, kind of counting I had two best friends in my lifetime that I had that real connection with, that I felt oh, I was understood, this is a real person that I can hang out of school, out of gymnastics, we could build our own friendship out of wherever I met you. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm explaining it correctly. It's kind of really hard just because for me, what a best friend, again, like I said, the requirements for me thinking as a best friend may be completely different for you. So yeah, it's just like I've never really had a lot of friends, and it's kind of sad because I think I spent like literally my entire life alone. Maybe I wasn't like really alone because I had my parents and I had siblings, and like I had a pretty healthy like growing up childhood. Like there was no abuse, no alcohol, like no drugs, like literally nothing. We were like nothing like that in that department. Um, but for me, I just had a really hard time growing up because like I was so angry and like I was so misunderstood, and I didn't have a diagnosis of autism until like I was 9, but like I didn't really get it. And you know, back then it was called Asperger's, and then it eventually changed into autism. So it's just kind of like for me, when I was growing up, felt like I was like the black sheep of the family. I was like odd, I was weird, I was lonely, I didn't like connect to people, like I didn't even connect to my siblings. Like I felt like they hated me, and then I kind of like got upset at them. It's just like I didn't feel connected to them in any sort of way. So I just felt like really, really alone. And you know, most people say that like they cannot be alone. They can't stand the silence. And for me, I can stand the silence. It's just not a good thing for me because when I'm in that silence and alone, I go like, I rapid, like my brain goes through all the terrible memories and like death and how like I have my fears and I'm afraid to lose my mom and all this stuff. And it's just like, it's not a good thing. So when I am alone, well, and technically I am alone already, but when I, like, don't have people to talk to, I just go on my phone, like, all the time, like, so much, like, because that is my entertainment for me, that is my escape, that is my time passing by, so that I can eventually live my life, and it's sad, because, like, my phone is like my best friend, if that makes sense, because it's the only time for me I feel like I can somewhat get away from my life and the fact that I'm so alone. And I struggled with like the aloneness, and I still struggle with it. But sorry, that was just like a long tangent about like friends being really hard for me to make, but I just wanted to explain it a little bit that for me, again, I've said this many times, that for me, what a best friend is I just want I want the person and I to connect on, if we meet, let's say, at like a park and I see you. I mean, let's say me and this random person meet at a park and when we connect, I don't want it to always just like the main reason why we're in contact was because of the park. Like I want to build it off of something like that, something different. So yeah, number 2 is that school was so hard. I mean, it will always be hard for me. That's why I'm not going to college, and I'm very lucky that my parents, mostly my mom, is not going to be upset that I'm not going to college or trade school or technical school or community school. It's just like for me, it's not the best, and if I were able to go there, like I would have to work my butt off and like get good grades and pass and do the SATs and you know, SATs or whatever the big tests that you need for colleges. For me, I just can't handle that, like mentally, emotionally, and physically, because my the way that I learn is so different. For most people, I mean, most people it's maybe easier for them to learn, it may not be, but for me, it's like I need to be taught a very different way that the school system could not. That was my camera. I just like the light on this because I have a lamp over here and it's not the best lighting. So school is like really, really hard. I like so hard understanding all these like instructions and like all these things that you have to do, like essays, math, like literature, like all the subjects, for me, it's just so hard, and I can never understand it, and it's like, for me, I need to be taught very simple terms and simple instructions, and you have to go slow, and you have to be willing to like revisit things that I've completely forgot, because I've been diagnosed with short-term memory loss, and it's not like, oh, I diagnosed myself, like I've been medically diagnosed. My brain literally can't remember like lots of instructions, and I get so overwhelmed, and I'm just like, what? Like my brain doesn't get it, and just like, no matter how many times someone tells me this is what you're supposed to do, like my brain will never understand how to do it myself without being told, this is what you do to do this, to get where you get to this part, basically. Now some people may be like really good at like school or like anything else, and they may be like incredibly smart, but for me, I'm just not smart in the academically world or street smart, just because the third thing is, personally for me, is I can drive, but I am so scared to drive. Like I have this like fear, and I'm sure everyone has fears of driving, but for me, this is like a big fear. And again, it's really with my memory issues, and I'm afraid that like I'm not gonna understand like where I'm supposed to go with the GPS, and then I think, for me, the one thing I don't like about GPS is sometimes most of the time it tells you to go straight, and then for like 14 miles or like a mile and a half, and then you turn left on this road or turn right on this road before you were actually supposed to do it. So like for me, I would, even then, if it was happening, the GPS where it would tell you go straight as you were about to hit it, that still like wouldn't really help me with my fear of driving, because it's more than that. Like it's so many like rules and like memorization and making sure you can't do this but you can do that, but also you have to rely on other drivers, which I don't like, because people are bad drivers, and I've never like driven a car myself. I drove like a golf cart, and that was scary. And it's just like, for me, I know that driving is a limitation for me, just because I know that like I would not even be able to like pass the the written test or the driving the actual car test, just because it's too much pressure for me, and I would get clammed up, or like I would forget things, and it's just like, I know for me it's not a good thing. I want to be able to drive. That'd be so lovely. If I could drive, it would solve a lot of my problems right now, where like I could go, if I need to get air, I could be able to drive, and it's just like, I can't. And I can use Uber and Lyft, but like, again, with my autism, I think this is the fourth or fifth thing. For me, with my autism, driving, well, being in Uber or Lyft is fine. It's just like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get kidnapped or anything, just because it happens, sadly. It really sadly does. And sure, they do background checks, but they're not doing a good enough background check. So for me, apparently my mom found out there's this thing where people like me, pay like $1 or $2 or something in order to get rides to where you need to go, and they do much a better background check on the people that are driving the cars, which is really nice, and I like that. But also, for me, I can't tell what car is what car. Like, I don't understand. Like I can kind of tell by like the logo, but like the number, the picture, like what the person looks like, it's like I trying to look for that. It's like, that's like really hard. Unless they literally show up like in my driveway, I can do that. But like, if I at a grocery store and I need to be picked up, like, I don't know how am I supposed to find this person when I have the picture of them on my phone, but it's like, I don't get it, and I've never tried it, but when I've been with my mom, like, I still try my best, and it's like, oh, I don't know which car it is, or something. The next one is that I have no filter, and it is bad and good. Mostly bad because I say a bunch of stupid, embarrassing things. I do a bunch of random things that are stupid and I regret. Like, I don't know why. My brain just blurts it all out, just like blah, blah. It's not very good, and I've been told that I have no filter, and sadly, that's one of the things that I do not like about myself. But you know what? That's okay. Trauma. So the next one is that I can't really relate to anybody. Maybe that's different for you or for someone you know, but like for me, my life experiences, like I have, like your typical average teenager goes to a party or has a sleepover or has a birthday party or like gets to hang out with their friends. Like I've never had that until a while ago, but I still never had a sleepover. I had a birthday party, and that was like my first one for my 19th birthday this past year, and that was like the biggest thing. Like, and it's sad because like I had no friends in order to do that, and when I did have a friend, I wasn't allowed to have that just because of situations, and sadly I can't experience that. Of course I can experience it when I get older, but like for me that's like, I don't know, it's still going to be fun, but I'm sad that I got to miss that experience of doing things, and you know, it sucks. So the next thing is that I don't know, I'm a weird person. Like, I don't know, like, I can't connect to people. I don't know how to talk to people. Oh yeah, so sorry. Yeah, people my own age, I don't like talking to. Like, I'm super awkward. I'm an extrovert, and then I'm just like, I don't know, people my own age, typically I'm just like an introvert, like not really an introvert, but I'm so like awkward, I don't know what to say. Like, I can compliment you and stuff, or I can ask you your name and stuff. It's like I don't know how to, again, get past through that awkward stage into a friendship, you know. And it's like I feel like people don't really connect with me, and I don't connect with them, and it's like I don't help their life experiences. So yeah, I rather just talk to adults more than anything. Just like, I don't know, I feel more comfortable with them, and I feel like I don't have to try my hardest to relate to them, because I know if you're like a couple years older, or even like 5, 10 years older, I know for me personally, I don't have to try my best to connect with you, just because I know I can't. And I don't know why, that sounds like really confusing and stuff, but like for me, it takes the pressure off. Like, I can be my normal self. Like, I don't have to feel awkward. I don't have to like say something. Just basically try to not be a person with autism. Like, I can be myself. And I don't know why it's always been like that. And whenever I told people like, oh, I've had autism, they've always said, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. And it's always been adult women. Just because, again, I don't know how or why, I just connect with them more easily. Just because, again, the pressure is off for me, and I don't know how my brain, or just like, I don't know exactly why. But for me, I just personally like talking to adults. It's so much easier on me. And I'd rather have adult friends. And I know when I get older and I become an adult, like, obviously you would think that would be, like, easier to connect. But I don't know. I think it's always gonna be the same. Like, I'm pretty sure when I'm, like, 25, it's still going to be hard to connect with other 25-year-olds, or people younger than me, or, like, a year older than me. Like, I don't know why. I just, for some reason, think it's always going to be like that as I get older. So yeah, this has been a really long video, and I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys!